Good morning, everybody. I'd like to call this meeting of the regular meeting of the Board of Supervisors Tuesday, April 8th to order. If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Madam County Council, will you lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll start with staff announcements. Ms. Medina, we missed you last week.
Chair, I missed you guys too. This is Hannah and our Shauna.
We can figure out the door.
Oh, it's on. No, I'm sorry. There we go.
There we go.
So this is Hannah. Hannah came to us very pregnant, and she had 6 puppies. Unfortunately, we lost 1 puppy, but she had 6 puppies, were born 3 days after she arrived at our shelter. So I'll be touting our spay and our neuter program. We still have those free vouchers today. Anyways, so she was a great mama. She is very attentive. She's real energetic. This breed is very smart, so they need a lot of stimuli. And it's her turn. All 5 of her puppies that ended up living have been adopted. So that's why we brought Hannah today, because it's Hannah's turn. She deserves it. And that's a lot of times that's what happens, is if we get a pregnant mama in, the puppies are the ones to go first, and the mamas are left behind. She's super sweet. She likes to jump. She likes to give kisses and cuddles, and she's very obedient already. And we've done a really remarkable job with her, especially Shauna and her crew. I can't thank them enough for all that they do at the shelter. It's very tasking, but very rewarding hi, Hannah, at the same time. So this is Hannah. If you are interested in Hannah, please give us a call at 754-6509. Hannah can go sit up there next to Chair Hubbardie. See if she'll go up there, Shauna, if that's okay. It's always a good thing to introduce our animals to different situations because it helps them adjust to different type of lifestyles and different types of settings. So our next announcement is our free microchip and rabies clinic that's going to be here at the Government Center this coming Saturday from 9 to 11:30. And Dr. Kathy Gatlin will be the attending veterinarian. Our other upcoming free clinics include days on May 3rd, June 14th, September 13th, and October 11th. In March, our dog volunteers gave over 710 hours. That's almost 30 days, full days of volunteer, right? And our cat volunteers gave 84.5 hours in March. We had Puppy Palooza at our shelter over the last several months. In the month of March, we gave away or adopted 10 puppies and 3 adult dogs. And we currently have 21 adoptable dogs at our shelter. Oh, I see someone taking a picture there. And 4 adoptable cats ready to go home. I think we have a potential. So kitten, she's very sweet, very smart. Kitten season is here. Generally, it runs from March through October. This is a time when female cats are very fertile. So our shelter, there is a surge of kittens, surge of litters, pregnant mamas, and they end up at our shelter. So I am pleading our public to please, seek out our voucher program with the shelter and with the Humane Society. It really would mean a lot to us. With these additional litters, additional puppies, it adds incredible duties on top of already the husbandry duties our staff and volunteers do. Our staff and volunteers work tirelessly to save every animal and to make sure every animal is cared for, loved for. And the shelter volunteers and staff, it's not just about feeding and cleaning and picking up poop, right? It's all the other duties, giving medication to our animals that are sick, nurturing them, making sure that they have human contact so they can go to loving homes that they're used to humans and other animals as well. So our staff and volunteers, I can't thank them enough. Thank you, Shauna, as always. We are looking for human foster parents, and being a foster parent means a lot as well because that takes some of the burden off our staff and volunteers, but it also helps some of our dogs and animals and cats that are recuperating from surgeries such as spays and neuters be able to recuperate in a loving, quiet home because as you can probably hear, sometimes in the morning The dogs are barking loudly because they get excited when they get to go out for their day of walk. So there's more information available on our CCAS website and our webpage under How to Help. You can look at our foster program and also any documents that go along with that, trying to adopt or will hopefully foster to adopt. That's kind of our little sneaky way of doing that. It's a wonderful way, and it's worked a couple times. I'm transparent.
Foster fail.
Yes, and you have a couple of foster fails. I have a foster fail, and so that's why I'm always toting this. Or you can call us at CCAS at 209-754-6509. We still have the spay and neuter vouchers from a grant that we share with the Humane Society, with a little over 44,000 left out of 175,000. So that's a lot. We estimated we would be able to help 1,000 animals, and we're more than halfway right now. So that's always a good thing. So please, Calaveras community, please consider spaying or neutering your animals. It's not cute when we have all those litters and those puppies and kittens that end up at our shelter. I can proudly say we are almost a no-kill shelter, and that's something that we need to be proud of. So you must be, in order to be considered for the spay or neuter program, you have to make an appointment. So call your veterinarian, and then you can call us or the Humane Society. Let us know that you made that appointment, and we will give you that voucher. So Focus Provides, which is Friends of Calaveras Animal Services, they do wonderful services for us, and I can't thank them enough. They also provide free spay and neuter and free rabies vaccines and microchips if needed to dogs who have been involved in the birth of unwanted puppies and brought to the shelter, thus preventing future litters. All of our animals, when they are adopted out, are spayed and or neutered. There will never be an animal that goes out without a spay or neuter. So this program has been recently expanded to households who have unwanted litters. CCAS is planning on having a booth at the fair this year for the first time. So we're real excited about that. And our intent is to provide the education about our different shelter programs and to promote, our shelter activities, promote our staff, promote our volunteers, and we'll also be sharing some of Focus's programs as well. We'll be highlighting their programs, and that is all I have.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Ron. Thank you, Hannah. Whoop. Mr. Holt.
I gotta try to follow up after Lisa's in the pits. I just to let you guys know on April 24th we're going to do a full-scale EOC activation exercise, and as part of that, one of you may get a call. It will be prefaced with exercise only, but the same notifications we're going to play the same way that we would for a real activation. Get ready for the upcoming summer months. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Morning, Jesse.
All right. Good morning, Chair Heberty, honorable members of the board, Jesse Fowler, Agriculture Commissioner and Director of Weights and Measures. So I'm here to talk about kind of an odd thing, which is unsolicited seed packages that are coming in from China. So this is something weird. It's basically, there are across the United States, there are random packages arriving in mailboxes, and that's including here in Calaveras County, and they have seeds in them. Now, people might be thinking, what's so wrong with getting free seeds in the mail? Well, the issue is that we don't know why these seeds are being sent, and we don't know what these seeds are. So these seeds could be non-native invasive weed species. They could be detrimental to our natural resources. They could be toxic to cattle. They could be detrimental to agriculture. So I'm here to ask, if you receive a package like that, please, please, please don't plant it, don't burn it, don't throw it out. It could germinate. So please just bring it into our office so that we can properly catalog it, and then we can also dispose of it. We actually have disposal procedures that were given to us by the United States Department of Agriculture because, again, this is a national problem. If there's any questions on this, there's more information on our website, on our Facebook page, and also you can obviously give us a call, 209-754-6504. And again, any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Any questions? Super. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Seeing no other staff announcements, we'll move on to general public comment.
Any item of interest to the public that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board and is not posted on the consent or regular agendas may be addressed during the public comment period. California law prohibits the board from taking action on any matter which is not posted on the agenda unless it is determined to be an emergency by the Board of Supervisors. If public comment is completed before the 30-minute allotted time period, the board may immediately move to the next order of business. If public comment is not completed during the allotted time period, it will be continued as the last item of business in order to provide an opportunity for the remainder of comments to be heard.
Thank you. Is there any public comment? Morning, Ms. Rubin.
Okay, hi, am I ready?
Yes.
Okay. So good morning. Thank you for allowing me to speak today on the importance of being prepared for fire and related emergencies. My name is Martha Rubin, and I am a resident of Arnold. For the past 3 years, I've been part of the team that produces the Arnold Firewise Preparedness Day event. Our tagline is, "Be Firewise, be prepared." This year, the event will be held on May 3rd at Independence Hall, as it is every year at 9 o'clock to noon. There'll be a barbecue lunch provided by Cal Waste, and we'll have workshops following our program from the Red Cross of how to pack your to-go bag and learn how to be a Firewise community, and activities from Columbia College's firefighting staff. This year, our event is sponsored by Columbia College and the Ebbets Pass Property Owners Council. And of course, we have continuous support from our District 3 Supervisor, Martin Huberty, and the Ebbets Pass Fire District Chief, Mike Johnson. So we're planning a very informative and educational event. I like to invite all of you to come, and I invite everybody in the county to come to our event, because residents will learn from our first responders, county and local experts, and agencies to do what to expect, and how to be best prepared in case of an emergency. Our attendees will take away actionable strategies to prepare themselves, their family, and property for fire or emergency situations, and learn problem-solving skills and solutions to incorporate in their daily routines and lives. By equipping homes and business owners with the valuable life and property information, along with ways to communicate if help is needed, and how to receive that information, then it ensures emergency preparedness action becomes an integral part of their lives in the mountain. We are helping communities develop ready skills and opportunities they need to survive. Our goal is to encourage each district to have an event like this. District, I think it's two, with the support of Supervisor Amdale, will be having an event organized by Rick Kerrigan and a group to hold an event on June 14th. It takes teamwork. The fear of wildfire is something we live with, but the actions we can take to protect our homes, businesses, and properties to help alleviate destruction and devastation from fire is really important. I urge you, County Supervisors, to support our efforts and take this action to your communities.
Thank you, Martha. Thank you. May 3rd.
Good morning. I'm Marcy Powers. I'm a resident of Arnold. I'd like to tell you about another important event as we approach fire season. The Calaveras Forest and Fire Film Festival and Forum, Saturday, May 31st, at the Bret Harte Theater in Angels Camp. For the past several months, I've been working with my District 3 Supervisor, Martin Huberty, to bring the residents of Calaveras together to examine more closely how we can avert experiencing the trauma and devastation of a catastrophic fire. The film festival aims to raise awareness about the critical issues surrounding our forests, particularly our vulnerability to catastrophic fire, and the importance of responsible forest management and community ignition resistance practices. Through a blend of film screenings and panel discussions with experts, it will bring our community together, not only to foster a deeper understanding of these vital topics, but motivate all of us to take action with greater urgency to prevent a megafire. The event, which is Calaveras' second annual Wild and Scenic Film Festival, is free, thanks to our generous sponsors, the Sierra Nevada Conservancy and the Calaveras Big Trees Association. You'll see films about wildfire, forest management, and the critical importance of making our communities fire resistant. A recent PBS special will be shown about a root cause of the LA fire devastation that's relevant to us. Also a film that reveals how forest restoration, prescribed burns and thinning, makes it possible for firefighters to stop megafires in their tracks. One panel will be led by Obie Kaufman, the author of the best-selling California Field Atlas and The State of Fire, Why California Burns. We'll hear from the executive officer of the Sierra Nevada Conservancy, Adam Lewis, the leader of the Calaveras Band of Miwok Indians, the fuels reduction team at the Stanislaus National Forest. Festival goers, all of you, I hope here will come, will meet the acclaimed filmmaker like Dorrington homeowner Kevin White, who is the director of Wilder Than Wild, a PBS special about the importance of prescribed burns. Eric Holt, our director of Calaveras OES, on what's involved creating a new Calaveras wildfire preparedness plan. We all understand the horrific devastation and the heartbreak that catastrophic fire brings. Some of us have experienced it with the Butte Fire and most recently the Arrow Fire, or going back the Darby and Gulch fires. We know just thinking about LA is not a matter of if, but when the next megafire tests our mettle. And as at the California Wildfire Task Force meeting just a few weeks ago, the urgency of community action was made clear, that this is truly an all-hands-on-deck moment for all Californians. So I hope that you will join us May 31st for the Forest and Fire Film Festival, and tell, please, the residents of your districts about it. Come together as a community, learn what every one of us can do to prevent fire. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Marcy.
I'm Steve Marks from Copperopolis. Want to see if you guys can help us get our lake back open and so the residents can start boating again. Haven't heard anything on the level from the board on this issue, but it's kind of become a hot button point down there in Tulloch and that. So the lake was closed on February 11th, and I think it was February 25th, 26th, 27th, I took a class to become a certified boat inspector, decontamination. And I went up to Maloney's to look at their process, and then I went to the Tri-Dam meeting. And we've talked with Angie Montavo, who's with Fish and Wildlife, and she's Northern California infectious invasive species on mussels and that. It said that Tulloch is a moderate. I think Comanche is extreme. But so we're just trying to, whether it's a committee, a lot of us don't work very well with Tri-Dam, so we're trying to look for some help to get dialogue with them. Let's see. There's a decontamination station over on South Shore that was put in 8 years ago that was never utilized. It was never brought online. And I mean, basically, we're being criminalized. Most of our boats have been in dry storage for months. And we don't think we should have to do the 30-day banding process. So that's about it. You guys can give us a hand. So, any questions?
Supervisor Follendorf?
I believe, and CEO Hitchcock will probably correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the next board meeting, we will be having a presentation from Tri-Dam related to the lake regulations. Is that correct?
That's my understanding as well, and
Okay.
I think
The big sticking point with all the HOAs is the indemnity clause. I mean, that's the thing that's kind of stopped everything.
So, and I think we can discuss that at the next board meeting, but I just want you, the residents know of Copper, that the presentation will be coming in front of the Board of Supervisors at the next board meeting to, for the public to engage in that.
Next Tuesday or?
Yeah,
Not
2
next
weeks.
Tuesday, in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
So,
The 22nd.
thank you.
Is that-
Yes, the 27th.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Steve, I'll call you after the board meeting. Yeah.
Hello, I'm Craig Robinson. I go by Buddy. I'm here with Steve to talk about our lake. So is there nothing I can really say or do since we're
You
going to
can
have a...
say, you're more than welcome to use your public comment time for the board to hear what you guys have to say, but there's no decision that the board can take at this time.
Okay.
I just want everyone to know that it will be,
Okay.
the item will be coming to the Board of Supervisors.
Thank you for that. And yes, it's been kind of unfair because we all have boats on the lake and we can't even use our lake. Our lake is closed. Understand if we're caught out on the lake, we might get fined and for trespassing, even though we have like some 50 acres worth of land under the lake that we pay property tax on and what have you, and we're going to be penalized for being on our own lake, and they're killing the property values. Tridam is just pulling us around and, closing our lake. We can't use it. Our boats live on the lake. They don't go anywhere. They don't leave the lake except for to be serviced or fueled. But for the most part, our boats live on the lake. We do not want to hurt our lake in any, fashion. But we would like to be able to use it, and for Tridam to just close it, and I don't believe they even found any mussels. We do have a weed issue on the lake that is out of control that they won't do anything about, which is kind of sad. In front of our houses, kids can't swim. I mean, it's a big nuisance, the weed issue, and we would like to get that addressed. The mussel thing, we just want to get our lake open so we can use it. That's all I just wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Butner.
My name is Christopher Butner, publisher of Calaveras 2026election.com. The Enforcement Division of the California Fair Political Practices Commission has completed its investigation of multiple complaints lodged against Calaveras County District 3 Supervisor Martin Huberty pertaining to case number 2023-00471. The Enforcement Division of the California Fair Political Practices Commission has concluded that Huberty committed numerous violations of the Political Reform Act, as has been alleged, and issued a stern warning letter to Huberty dated February 3rd, 2025. The California Fair Political Practices Commission warning letter informs Huberty that his failure to comply with the provisions of the Political Reform Act in the future will result in monetary penalties of up to $5,000 for each violation. Upcoming budget discussions leading to a vote on Calaveras County's 2025-2026 fiscal year budget find Huberty on the cusp of inviting new, considerably more serious allegation and potentially more legally consequential than what he has already been formally warned about by the state of California. I remind Martin Huberty and all of you that the July 1st, 2023 Agreement for the Promotion of Tourism, which was executed and entered into on August 22nd, 2023, by and between the Calaveras County government and the Calaveras Visitors Bureau, contained a glaring misrepresentation of the CVB's nonprofit corporation type that was allowed to persist despite my cautioning. I remind Martin Huberty and all of you that the CVB's nonprofit legal type changed from California Public Benefit Nonprofit Corporation to a California Mutual Benefit Nonprofit Corporation on July 21st, 2021, effective upon recordation of amended articles of incorporation with the California Secretary of State. California Public Benefit Nonprofit Corporations and California Mutual Benefit Nonprofit Corporations are distinctly different legal entities requiring different bylaws. As the executive director of the Calaveras Visitors Bureau, Hubbardie was legally and ethically obligated to accurately disclose the legal type of the nonprofit organization he represents that receives public funding from transient occupancy taxes. The 2025-2026 fiscal year budget cycle approaches. The CVB will once again be considered for an allocation of funding. At the time of your vote in June, will the county's agreement for the promotion of tourism accurately reflect the CVB's legal type as a California mutual benefit nonprofit corporation, or, following the vote, will it be necessary to file a formal allegation with the Enforcement Division of the California Fair Political Practices Commission seeking investigation of Hubbardie's persistent fraudulent misrepresentation and exposing the complicity of this delegitimized government? My name is Christopher Budner, publisher of Calaveras 2026 Election.com. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Alicia Hanks, and I am the Director of Water and Energy Conservation Services at Amador-Tuolumne Community Action Agency. I am here to give you a report on the services provided to Calaveras County. In 2024, we provided utility assistance to 307 households with an average payment of $642, of which 113 of those households were without power or facing a disconnection. We provided weatherization services to 23 Calaveras households. So far this year, we have provided utility assistance to 152 households with an average utility assistance payment of $990, including 4 households with a disconnection notice or interrupted services. So far this year, we've completed weatherization services on 5 Calaveras homes and water saving measures on 2 Calaveras homes. ATCA is currently providing low-income residents of Calaveras County with PG&E or a propane payment, home weatherization services through our low-income heating energy assistance program, and our Department of Energy Weatherization Assistance Program. We are also offering water conservation measures to the southern parts of the county along the Highway 4 corridor. So those are the counties that are part of the Tuolumne-Stanislaus watershed. We are currently hiring an outreach worker who will be stationed in San Andreas at Health and Human Services for 3 days a week to better serve Calaveras County residents. And we are working with Calaveras Health and Human Services to place them in the building so that they can be accessed by your residents. Services, applications are available at Health and Human Services currently. They're also at all the Calaveras County library branches. And they are accessible on our website at atcaa.org. Those are printable and they can be mailed in. Applications are also available by calling our office. We will mail it out to you. Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming and reporting out. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I'm glad to.
It would be nice to have actual, on the agenda.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm happy to put something together with you guys.
That would be nice. Thank you.
Okay.
Perfect.
That's
Have a good
more
day.
information that I've heard in a long time.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
Is there any other public comment?
Hi, good morning. My name is Jeff Dunmeyer, and I was hoping for some guidance from the board on a property that I have in Camp Connell. This property is one I purchased from the county tax sale in 2023, November of 2023, so a little over a year ago. And I purchased it because at the time it was zoned to allow for a single-family residence as an approved use. About 7 months later, the county adopted an update to its zoning code, and my property went from being buildable to not buildable, and depleting the value by quite a bit. So I was hoping there might be some mechanism where I could have the county assist me in either changing the zoning or letting my property remain in the old zoning so I could actually build. And I have not approached anybody at the county yet on this, so I was wondering if the board might have some feedback, and here it comes. Absolutely. Thank you. Anyone else? Or,
Brent can help.
Yes.
out on planning.
Chair Hubbardie. Brett Sampson is our planning director.
Okay.
And he would be the one to work through this with.
Brett Sampson. Okay. I've been told there's a planning commission meeting on Thursday. Does anyone think it would benefit me to show up to that meeting, or should I just?
I believe that you'd be better served to contact Brett and see what the process is in order to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish.
Okay. That's good. Thank you. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda.
Consent agenda items are expected to be routine and non-controversial. They will be acted upon by the board at one time without discussion. Any board member, staff member, or interested party may request the removal of an item from the consent agenda for later discussion.
Thank you. Would anybody like to pull, would any of the board members like to pull it?
Item 7.
Item 7?
I'm going to pull item 3.
Item 3? Anybody else? Would any member of the public like to pull an item from the consent agenda? Seeing none, I'll come back to the board and ask if we could have a motion on the remainder of the consent agenda.
Move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0. We'll move on now to item number 3. Madam Clerk.
Item 3, action item, Administrative Office. 1, find project exempt from CEQA and within the scope of the General Plan EIR. And 2, adopt the Calaveras County Parks and Recreation Master Plan.
Madam CEO.
I just wanted to comment that this item is to finalize the process and adopt the county's first ever Parks Master Plan. So we're really excited that we finally gotten to this day, and I think there are some people in the audience who want to speak to this as well, so.
Yeah, this has been a long time coming. I've been here on this board for a long time, and it's been a long path to get here. And I see Judy Allen is out there. She's been involved in the Parks and Rec for a long time also. So I pulled it so you could have a comment, Judy, if you like to.
Yes. Excuse me. My name is Judy Allen. I'm chair of the Parks and Rec Commission, and I'd just like to add that all of the commissioners have had an opportunity to review the Park Master Plan, and we're pretty excited about it, and I would like to encourage you to adopt it. I'm glad to see all the favorable comments from the supervisors, and we feel that this is going to open more opportunities for grants for Parks and Recs by having this master plan in place. And we're also hoping that it's a, excuse me, a first step towards developing some parks and recreation plans in the community, and hopefully working with the Amador Parks and Recreation in a future joint powers agreement to develop more programs for this area, because we're really so sorely lacking in opportunities for kids during breaks, during summer vacations. We don't have summer camps, recreational opportunities right now, and this is something that the commission is really working on. And I believe that the Amador Parks and Recreation is now working on finding a site for a test program this year to see what kind of reception they get. So we're very excited about this, and I encourage you to adopt the plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. Is there any other public comment? With that, I'll bring it back to the board.
I just want to say thank you, Judy. I think it was about 10 years ago on Foothill Parks and Recreation, a little side park thing. There was a moment you were thinking about throwing in the towel because you didn't think this would get done in your lifetime.
More than one.
Yes, and you know what? You stuck it out, and look, we aren't done. This is one small step towards getting towards success. So, thank you for, picking up the baton and carrying it for so long. The torch.
Thank you, Judy, for all you did. that, I would like to move it.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0.
Thank you.
And thank you to the rest of you on the Parks and Recs Commission. You all doing good work, you know. Not to discount what work you've done, because Judy.
Great. We'll move on to item number 7. Madam Clerk.
Item 7, resolution, Human Resources, approve a resolution Y rating for the salary of Mark Kinzlak pursuant to County Code Section 2.64.435, effective no later than April 19th, 2025.
I needed to pull item number 4.
Sorry, is there an issue?
Yeah, do you want, I voted yes on the entire thing. Do you want me to ask the
Yep.
We voted on the rest of the consent agenda. We would like to, I would see if the board would be willing to bring back item number 4.
Yes.
I'm a yes.
Yes.
Okay, and revote. So, sorry, Judy,
That's
not
fine.
to interrupt you. However they want to move forward on it now, I'll leave it up to the chair.
So the reason we're pulling item number 4.
So can I read item 4?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
Sorry, Stacy.
Item 4, action item, Administrative Office. 1, make public benefit findings, and 2, approve community organization district allocations to San Andreas Recreation and Park District in the amount of $225 and Bret Hart Union High School in the amount of $5,000.
So I apologize to the board. The San Andreas Park and Recreation District had given us a quote for some work that they were doing on the county's behalf. The original quote was for the $225. They've since submitted a final invoice that came in slightly higher than that at $300. So we would like to amend the item to include a contribution to them of $300 in order to cover the cost of the work that they did on our behalf.
Great. So we
And
can,
this is a county park, municipal park, so,
Right.
yeah, right here in San Andreas.
super. So is there any public comment regarding this item? And so if we could have a motion.
I move this item
With the amendment?
with the amendment to $300.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Passes 5-0. Now, thank you. Now we can move on to item number 7.
All right, you're back, Judy.
Wait a minute, let's go on to,
Okay, Judy Hawkins, Human Resources and Risk Management. Good morning, Chair Haberty, members of the board. The item that we're bringing before you today is, as the board remembers, March 11th, your board voted to make certain changes due to an organizational review within the Public Works Department. And part of that change was in eliminating a position that during the org review was decided was best for the department. With the employees have rights within their MOUs to bump, and so the position that was eliminated, the employee bumped to the position of business administrator. And so now the current business administrator is bumping to another position that is lower in pay than what he is. And so we are Y-rating his position since this was a result of the reorganization. And so we feel that's why it falls within your rights to Y-rate them.
Supervisor Stopper.
Okay. Well, a couple things. I mean, the change would be approximately $2,452 more than what the current position would be on the Y rating. That's what it says in here. But it says this amount does not impact the department's budget. It doesn't impact the general fund, but any amount impacts the budget.
I think that's language that we typically use when the money is already budgeted and then there's salary savings or something already in the department that covers it without any need for adjustments.
Need for adjustment, but any amount of money to impact. But beyond the point. It says here, when an employee suffers an actual decrease in salary as a result of action taken by the county through no fault of the employee, the board may adopt a Y rate to apply to the employee so effective. There's some key terminology in there, like may instead of shall. And other things it says in there but that's beside the point. We're going into this new year, federal money has been cut across the top everywhere. And we're gonna get to a certain point coming up that we're gonna have to make some hard decisions, because Health and Human Services is gonna see decreases throughout it in a lot of spots. There is some surplus in there, but I believe moving forward, from my perspective, us trying to retain services to the level they are right now with that money won't last any amount of time, and it won't be sustainable. So we need to be pragmatic about how we move forward, and this is the core reason why I'm pulling this item to talk about. The fact that down the road, Y ratings and people moving around, bumping rights and everything aside, we're gonna have to start making some cuts here, depending on how that budget comes down from the federal government and affects our services.
So, may I address supervisor statements? Yes, you are correct. Right now, the federal government is in quite a bit of flux. We're not actually sure how any of those cuts will impact our county at this time, since, as we've seen, sometimes cuts are made in 1 week and then reinstated the next week. So we're waiting for all of this to shake out. Right now, we don't have any definitive notification of significant reductions to programs, although we are watching it carefully. We know that some of our partner agencies have been impacted already. So again, this is something we're watching very closely through the budget process, as well as just the fact that if there's a downturn in the economy, we're likely to see lower tax revenues coming in from sales and transient occupancy tax, which are both significant contributors to our county revenue. So we are going through the budget right now. My team is being very diligent. We are, and this is just a note to departments, we are requiring them to come in at status quo. We do realize that things may have increased over the last year because of inflation, and that's truly a cut for them. But we are really holding the line on making sure that we're not increasing any expenditures in any departments over last year's appropriations at this time, and then we'll be looking closely at what our revenues look like in case we do need to identify where we might make actual reductions in budgets. So it is going to be likely a very difficult budget year, and we have already warned departments that we believe it's a difficult budget year, and we know that the board is very fiscally conservative, and so we're taking that to heart as we're developing next year's budget.
Thank you, Teresa. That's my point behind this. So as we move forward, the board, we're making these types of hard decisions. Things like this, with our policies and stuff, we have me read into it and make the hard decisions as they come along. Now isn't the time, in my mind, with this situation, but that's up to the board as a whole.
Well, thank you for.
But every cent counts.
Yeah, thank you. Is there any other board comment? Is there any public comment regarding this item? With that, I'll bring it back to the board.
I'll move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes
Thank you.
5-0. Thank you, Judy. We'll move on to the regular agenda. Madam Clerk, item number 11.
Item 11, Agreement, Administrative Office. 1, find exempt from CEQA. 2, authorize the board chair to sign and purchase sign the purchase and sale agreement with BGK Real Estate Holdings LLC for the county's purchase and real property located at 509 East St. Charles Street, San Andreas, and 585 Mountain Ranch, San Andreas, for office space at a purchase price of $5,900,000 plus fees using human services funding. 3, authorize the county executive officer or designee to execute the certificate of acceptance and any additional documents needed to facilitate the purchase. And 4, approve the budget transfer associated with the purchase of the human services building. Requires a 4/5 vote of the board.
Thank you. Mr. Munoz.
Good morning, Chair, members of the board. Marcos Munoz, Assistant CEO. I am here today looking for approval to purchase the building located at 509 East St. Charles. The building is commonly known as the Human Services Building or the HSA Building. The purchase price is $5.9 million. So HSA has occupied the building since its construction in 2001. And it is moving into the final year of its lease with that annual lease estimated at just over $635,000. That's the rent price per year. There are several reasons for purchasing this building. The building's about 32,000 square feet. The current cost we are seeing for government buildings is coming in at $1,000 a square foot. So when you look at constructing a building of similar size, at today's price, that would be about $32 million. So the purchase price, again, is $5.9 million. The other reason is the building is up for sale. So depending on who purchases it, they may or may not want to keep the Human Services Department in the building. And with over 100 employees in that building, it would be very difficult to find another building located in San Andreas to keep them all together. It'd be more likely that we would have to separate folks out. And then again, depending on the cost to renew, as this lease is up in a year, it could go up. So right now, the rent is $635, but depending on negotiations, that price could go up. Funding for this building is specific to human services. It can only be used for human services activity. This is one of those allowable expenses, and it cannot be used for any other department in the county. Currently, the fund balance of human services is right around the $14-15 million. So while this is significant in the long run, it would ultimately pay off.
Any questions from the board? Supervisor Toppinelli?
Yeah, do we have any idea or any paperwork or anything on the annual cost to maintain this building?
On the website where this building is up for sale, it does list that the current maintenance of the building is $80,000. That's what they spend on.
80,000?
80,000, yes.
And do you have any idea when the last time the roof was replaced?
I do not know when it was exactly replaced. I do know right now, per our lease, we are responsible on any maintenance inside the four walls. I know the parking lot was recently repaved.
Yeah. So. Okay, but we don't know, and we never had the roof inspected before we brought this to us?
We have not had the roof inspected.
Okay. Can we have it inspected? I'm just concerned with the size of the building and the amount of damage that could be done. We're through the rainy season, basically. There could be some coming up, but heading into next year, we now own the property. At least we should know the condition of the roof.
We did have a structural review on the building. I don't know that they specifically looked at the roof, but we can definitely take a look at the roof.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I'm going to piggyback off of what Ben said earlier. I know you said this is one of many uses that they can use this fund for. And I know you're very diligent, Marcos, in budgeting, but just out of caution, is there going to be money left in Health and Human Services for other needs should something happen? I mean, I know that there is a need. We can't afford to build them another building if we don't get the lease. I hear you on that, but I also don't want to short us and this be the reason why we may not be able to fill positions when things start coming down the hill. I just got back from RCRC. Other counties are losing complete departments because of the funding. And it's not just Health and Human Services. They are losing the Public Works Department. They are losing other services to provide to the constituents. And I am the fear in that room. I don't want to, I don't want to be looking at employees in the eye because we don't have this conversation now.
You are correct. CEO Hitchcock mentioned it. Right now, federal funding is in flux, and that is also impacting our local funding. We're seeing impacts across the whole board. So yes, funding. This is one-time dollars that we have in our contingencies. This is not ongoing money, so this money could essentially be a stopgap for a certain period of time, but if funding drops, if this funding was to run out, we'd have to look at reductions other places.
So Health and Human Services understand that if we use this money out of their contingencies, there is no other cash flow to stopgap other issues or push the can down the road for another year if we spend it on this building. I just want to make sure everyone understands that right now we're having this out in the open. We can't be coming back because, it's not just going to be Health and Human Services. We're going to try and be saving, we've got many other departments and services that the public expects of us, and it's going to be hard, as Ben said, in the next year or two. Okay.
Any other questions?
I want to thank Amanda for bringing that up because, to that point, if some things do get cut, how much of that building will we occupy? Unfortunately. But it's a pragmatic decision on your part. I mean, I start doing the math, $635,000 a year, plus $80,000 in maintenance. I mean, I'm sure we're spending more than that on the interior just with how many people are in there. 710, was it? We've pretty much been in the building for 25 years now?
Yes, coming up on 25.
That's $17.5 million. For 25 years, pretty much, for the most part. 5.4 is a deal, but Gary's right. We need to make sure the roof stays good, or the rest is going to be bad. That's all. Thank you for the good work, Marcos.
5.9. You said 5.9.
5.9
million.
Oh, yeah. My
apologies. It's like, what do you want to spend 5.2, 4.9? Just bring it down.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to save us $1 million.
Yes.
How about 3.2?
Could I ask, what is the likelihood that they wouldn't, I mean, I know this is a really stupid question, but the likelihood that they wouldn't allow another year's lease?
We haven't entered into those negotiations. We do know it's up for sale, so there's a good chance it could be another person we are negotiating with. May not be the current owners, or it may be. I just don't know.
Thank you. Is there any other board comment?
I'd like to hear what CEO has to say. Her comments.
So I do believe that this is a good investment for the county. I do know that we are coming up on some challenging budget times this particular year, but there is a contingency fund. I think Marcos mentioned that it's around 14 million. This is only 5.9 million of that contingency that the department has. It will have the effect of an ongoing savings for the department in their rental costs. I know that the maintenance has been $80,000 a year. The amount of rent we've been spending is $635,000. So you're looking at about a $550,000 per year savings, which at that rate in 10 years we'll be far better off. And we've already been in the building for 25 years. So I believe it's a prudent expenditure of funding, even though we are headed into a very difficult budget time. It is an asset for the county as well. So I do believe that it's something that we should invest in. That would be my recommendation.
Can I make a clarifying point? So the $80,000 is what the realtor has listed that their clients are currently putting into it, not what the county's putting
question of, Gary asked a question about the roof, so if it comes back that we do need to do some maintenance or even replace the roof, will that be coming out of this contingency fund?
The building would be purchased under the Human Services. They will occupy it. Their funding would essentially pay for it.
Okay, so we will not be seeing it back out of general fund?
Not general fund dollars. They also, their fiscal person has reached out to the state. They have to run it through their claim. They claim depreciation on the building, and so it acts as if it's their building.
So will they have their own CIP just for them, so it doesn't come under general fund?
They don't currently have a CIP. It would fall under our CIP, but it would be funded by their dollars.
Okay.
That would be a separate thing then, because this now will be a county building, and it falls within the scope of the county building. So a CIP, if anything needs to be done on that, including the roof replacement, you're saying other than what's going on with the rest of the CIPs, county buildings, coming out of general fund or wherever we designate the funds from, this would be set up separately?
It would be a county asset, but Marcus is saying the funding comes from Human Services.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that.
So typically, we charge back to the federally funded programs for expenses that are specific to their department. So if it's an expense specific to them, then we would charge it back to them.
I understand, but this sounds a little bit different. So even though it's under the scope now, once we purchase it, it's county property, so we're on the hook for it, whether the federal government and Elon decide they're not giving any more money out for this or whatever, and we have a roof that needs replacement because it's leaking all over the place, it could come out of general funds or a CIP fund that we have set up for the other projects that are be coming to us next month or later this year. There's a possibility, depending on what happens in the future, that it could be, because it is going to be a county building.
Correct. The general fund is a backstop.
We can make the decision.
Yeah.
Is it prudent then to have somebody do a roof inspection and bring it back?
Generally, there should be we should be authorizing a site inspection to those ends to check everything, to see what it needs prior, like a home inspector.
Well, there's been an inspection. It was in 2021, which is only 4 years ago, and I think structurally the building is fine. I just have concerns about nobody's looked at the roof. I don't know when it was last done, whether it was patched or was complete. When was the last time it was completely done? Was it stripped? Was it just put over the top of it? I just think because of the size of the building and we're purchasing it, and because of what the cost is coming out of where it's coming from, that we should at least have an inspection of the roof and get some idea of how long they think it would last, or if it needs to be replaced now or whatever. Like I said, we're past the rainy season right now. Apparently we didn't have any problems, although if I remember, there was some leakage. Was that Colombo building? Anyway, but I think it's just, we need to have at least a roof inspection and give us an idea of what the cost would be to replace it or fix it if it when that time comes, and how long it's going to last, or what condition it's in now.
Yeah, to protect our asset that we purchase. I agree with Gary 100%.
I do as well. Is there any public comment regarding this item?
And we have no online public comment.
Thank you. I'll bring it back to the board.
I'll make the motion and add, please get a roof inspection, Marcos. Or have our guys go out and take a look at it also, sir.
Facilities. And so you're moving, just want to be clear, you're moving the item, but contingent on a roof inspection. And if the roof inspection, we need some, then bring the item back before you close the deal. Is that what your motion is?
I think generally, when you find out something like that, there's the opportunity to negotiate based on the cost.
I agree.
But
Well, so the item before the board today is to execute a purchase and sale agreement for this amount. So you can certainly, you can either approve it and direct Marcos to get that inspection so that we know, or,
I hear you,
push
Sarah,
it and
I appreciate it. Still want the roof inspection, gonna approve the purchase, and then we'll go from there. It's not contingent, the purchase is not contingent on how good the roof is. But we need to know how to keep our asset up in the future as we move forward, so.
I'll second what Ben just said.
Okay, so
If that's a motion.
Motion and a second.
That's
All
my
in favor?
motion.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Passes 5-4, 5-0. What am I saying?
4-1.
4-1. Oh, I can count. Sorry about that. Took a little mental vacation there.
All that weight.
Okay, thank you, Marcos.
Next item, too.
Right, so we're moving on to item 12.
Item 12, action item, Administrative Office, approve budget transfer for an increase in expenditures in the facilities budget by $12,550 and a reduction in Parks and Recreation contingencies by the same amount for repairs to the Mountain Ranch Community Park septic system requires a 4/5 vote of the board.
Marcus.
Greetings. I'm here to request an increase in appropriations to the facilities budget in the amount of $12,550. So back in February, on February 25th, during the mid-year requests, I presented replacing the septic tank at Mountain Ranch Community Park, which was failing. The amount requested back then was based on an engineering estimate that came in at just under $30,000. The board directed me to go out and get actual quotes to determine the actual price. So we did that. We reached out to several contractors, and we came in with a low estimate of $12,550. And so since this is no longer a CIP project, I'm just looking for the appropriations of $12,550 to go and fix the issue.
I have a question. Earlier, we voted on, from consent agenda item number 4, $300. Why was the same thought process not considered for that, but we're considering this? I mean, we have money in the Parks and Rec. I think I've asked it before. There's maintenance on other county parks. We put that budget aside. I've asked for an overlook of what potential future needs are for current county park. So when we do go through the budget process this coming year, we know how much to park in Park and Rec. And so why are we considering some and not others for maintenance? Because, and I know in the past we have done that because we didn't have a Parks and Rec budget, but now we do. And so I guess I don't understand why we're.
So item 4 was the board member district allocations that you each have a certain amount of money that you can give for whatever purpose. So that's where that was coming from. And then this is just moving from.
Yeah, but we've historically in the past,
So-
but anything park-related has always come from our district allocations. It has never come out of this fund. Now we are setting a new precedent, and so why is one district getting it and not another, is my question.
I believe that Supervisor Andal brought this up, and the board directed it to come back, and so that's what
Yeah,
Mr.
but if
Munoz
that
is
was
doing.
that conversation, why was that not given to another board member for consideration for their allocation?
We didn't say bring back the TOT money we put towards the districts. We said bring back what the cost was. on
Correct.
the
This is-
direct. So that.
This is just bringing back an item with
previous.
previous board direction to bring back.
Right, and so she's asking what the thought process was, putting the
So-
Parks and Rec's TOT money behind it, as opposed to Supervisor District 2 stepping up and putting their money contingent on fixing it, unless the former.
And it can be a
supervisors
discussion
stand
for another time, but I think I've asked that over the last couple months. I've internally and externally out in public, and I think we need to have another robust conversation. I'm not supporting this, it needs to be done, it's a health and safety issue, but it brings up another topic of budgetary conversations, because we have all given up over the last, since we've all started this program, out of our local district funds that maybe we would rather give to another organization now that we actually have a Parks and Rec budget.
Yeah, I've traditionally given to all the parks, specifically a lot here in San Andreas. One of them is not even, I gave a lot of money to, is not even in my district anymore. But it brings up a good point. And I think the discussion we had, and we all understood, because it has to do with the septic repair at this park. It's a public hazard and needs to be fixed, regardless of where the money's coming from at this point. But it's a good point that you're bringing up, Supervisor Fallendorf, that traditionally funds have come from our specific funding that we have
I
for each
appreciate
district.
that as well. I've done the same. We had an infrastructure problem with the Murphy's Park, and it was a grease trap that nobody knew about, but that was what that $3,000 allotment was 2 meetings ago went for.
Yeah.
So it's a
I
great
mean,
point.
I would do the same, but I don't even have a park in my district.
Well, you can use it in mine if you want.
Supervisor Randolph.
If I may, I have no problem using my district allocations. I'm happy to do so at all of my parks and community centers, as my predecessor has done in the past. This, however, is a pre-existing, happened, last year we were informed. We brought it back, we revisited it. It is our property, it is health and safety. It needs to be addressed. I'm super grateful to Marcos for being so thorough and coming in less than half than we projected. And I think that moving forward, I am very interested in joining Parks and Rec in an official capacity to be that bridge, to know what is needed. Each commissioner is looking at putting together their list of wants and wishes. All of your commissioners are as well. So we can have it organized moving forward and see what is coming down the pipeline and what we can and can't do.
That's good strategizing moving forward, but you have Railroad Flat Elementary in your district. That's where all your money's going.
And I get that. I'm a big
Sorry.
district. I'm a huge district. I have a lot of communities.
I'm not complaining on them, and I completely, last time I came at it pretty hard because, there's quite a few different things across the board that District 5 is shorted on as opposed to other districts. So I need to make my voice heard in standing up for my constituents. That said, I understand the need. We don't need to start an environmental catastrophe. I will support this item.
Thank you. Is there any public comment regarding this item?
Ms. Allen.
Hello, Board. I'm District 2 Parks and Rec Commissioner Kate Allen. And I just want to appreciate and say thank you for your consideration in supporting this item. It is a county-owned facility, and even though it might not be in your district, it's a Calaveras County responsibility in my mind. I have reached out to you, Ben. I actually called you and left a message because even though I'm not your commissioner, I'm trying to get more programming in your district as well. I don't look at this as seeing that we're looking at opportunities that other districts have put forth that we're saying, no, you can't have this, we're going to give it to D2. I don't think it should be looked at that. I am here to support any parks in any district in our county. This just happens to be the hottest fire at the moment. But I am interested in always, and as we are at the commission, to do everything we can for every district, including yours, Supervisor Stopper. So, and I'm continuing to work with ACRA to try to see if we can get something going down there. So thank you so much for considering. I hope you will help us fix this dire issue so we can use this county-owned facility just like we would do in any of your other districts as well. Thank you so much.
Is there any other public comment? Any comment online?
We have no online public comment.
Thank you. With that, I'll bring it back to the board.
I just want to say that I do support districts all across the county. And the veterans in McCalmy Hill. They take great care of those. I've given them thousands of dollars of my personal money supporting them. One of them was buying one of your pies at one of the things, which was all right, by the way. But it was definitely worth the money. But that said, with that, I'll move this item.
Supervisor, talk now.
Yeah, like I said back when it was brought up, and it was going to come back to us, this is a health issue. This is a public problem. And regardless where the money coming from, it needs to be fixed. So I support, I will second the motion on it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Get it right this time, 5-0.
Can we take a 5-minute break, please?
Yes, we can.
Thank you.
We'll be back at, say, 10:20. And we're back. Madam Clerk, will you read item number 13, the last item on our regular agenda?
Item 13, informational item, behavioral health. Conduct a study session and provide staff direction on CalAIM funding opportunities to develop transitional housing.
Thank you. Ms. Alt.
Is that on? No? Okay, sorry, thank you. Wendy Alt, Behavioral Health, Calaveras County. And this is Leanne Burns with Calaveras County Behavioral Health as well. And we're here just to give you an informational overview of CalAIM funding, not to make any decisions today. And online, we have Michelle Meldon, who you've seen HMA contracts come before you. So I thought it would be nice to have her today to just go over a lot of the work that she does with us. She's been with us from crisis mobile unit that we have in our area as well, and through a lot of different grants, and we always make sure that the funding is there to cover it, and she's going to assist us, and we're here to answer some questions and just go through all of that. So kind of feels like Shark Tank down here, but Michelle, go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Michelle Meldon. I'm with Health Management Associates. We're a national consulting firm that specializes in publicly financed health care. And as Wendy said, we've been supporting Calaveras County Behavioral Health since 2021, starting with the Mobile Crisis Initiative and then growing from there to accessing and leveraging a variety of CalAIM resources to help Calaveras County Behavioral Health transition along with the CalAIM initiatives that are coming your way. So I'm here, as I understand it, to help explain where we are on the unique responsibilities and opportunities that are presented for behavioral health agencies to address housing issues for the clients they serve. I'm going to share my screen so that we can show a PowerPoint, if that's okay.
Yes.
So I think you're seeing my screen, and here is the PowerPoint. I'm going to minimize the Zoom pictures. So as I said, we're here. Does everybody see it okay? Okay, I'm assuming that's a yes. We're here to talk about CalAIM funding opportunities and the obligations and responsibilities around developing transitional housing and the opportunities that are presenting themselves. So first of all, I want to talk about what transitional housing is. Let me move this a little bit. Okay. In March 2024, there was a bill passed in California to reform the way that the state funds mental health services. As you probably are aware, there was the Mental Health Services Act that was funded through a state tax, and that's being morphed into something called the Behavioral Health Services Act. And in 2024, that legislation was adopted. I'm going to refer to that as the BHSA. And one of the core components of the BHSA is a change for the counties and their behavioral health agencies in that making one of the 3 services that are required to be funded are housing interventions beginning in July 1, 2026. 30% of the funds that come through the BHSA funding must be used for the housing interventions. Within that, 50% must be prioritized for the chronically homeless. And there's available up to 25% for capital development. That's a key concept here because if it turns out that your county does not have enough housing resources for your chronically homeless and those with behavior that you're serving because of their behavioral health conditions and needs, then you'll be required to use up to 25% to develop that housing. So part of this presentation is about what resources you can leverage now so they don't take away resources in the future that could be used for services. Let's see. So I'm going to go through some of the opportunities that we've had and that we've used. There was one initiative called Behavioral Health Bridge Housing, and it was set up for behavioral health agencies to help individuals who met their clinical eligibility requirements to get what's called bridge housing. As you probably are aware, you under the MHSA, the Mental Health Services Act, there's something called the Full Service Partnership. That was a quote-unquote do whatever it takes to help some of your most neediest chronically ill individuals with mental health conditions and SUD. And they were sometimes referred to as your frequent flyers, the ones who are really utilizing resources in the emergency rooms, and they weren't availing themselves of services. And so the idea of FSP was to reach out and entice these individuals to get services and to get housed. So bridge housing under this program, BHBH, was for those who were not already served under FSP to expand the clients that you could serve through your behavioral health agency and get them housing transitional services. The project that you got funded began in 2024 and it goes through July 2027. It included support for different kinds of housing support, emergency, short-term, and long-term. However, because of the deficit of resources in your county, the only option that you've been able to use so far is Angels Inn, and that's for month-to-month short housing. More about behavioral health bridge housing. It supports the behavioral health agency not only with the funds for the transitional housing, but also the case managers who support those clients. Those case managers work collaboratively in your community to help find those clients longer-term solutions. For example, they need to apply through your housing community programs agency, and they sometimes need extra support in identifying the paperwork and navigating that system. On top of the month-to-month and the case managers and there's also money in there for deposits, essential household items, and landlord incentive funds. One of the issues is that because of the lack of housing in your community, you are not spending all of that BHBH money. It's just sitting there. The state would like you to spend it, and we have talked to the state about whether there's flexibility to move it to other uses that weren't in the original plan. And the state has given us permission to make a formal request to move that into potentially purchasing and renovating more transitional housing. They needed to go through a couple exceptions to give that to you, but one of the requirements for that is that they only would give you that funding if you think that renovations could be completed before the grant ends in July 2027. There's also another potential opportunity here that's coming around the corner, and that's to use bond BCHIP funding and the RFP is going to be released in May. Now, your county already has received funding under one grant to consolidate the location of your behavioral health services and develop a peer wellness center. This is another opportunity, and its focus is to fill in gaps in what's called behavioral health continuum. One of the identified gaps statewide is, again, transitional housing, recognizing that there are people who, because of their mental health conditions, are moving from homelessness to hopefully long-term housing, but some of them are not ready for long-term housing, and some of that housing may not be available. So it's the idea is that there's a transition to go from here to there. These are some of the things that you might be able to do with the bond beach chip funding. As I said again, the RFP is going to be released in May, and it's under these categories: capital improvements and new construction, crisis stabilization, and supportive housing projects. The reason that we're bringing this up is that in the event that you want to take advantage of the BHBH funding that's sitting there and available to begin the purchase or renovation of a building, if it turns out that that's not the entire
She froze up.
Uh-oh.
Michelle, you have frozen. Wendy, I don't know if you want to.
That's
go ahead.
okay. Yeah. I can go.
I can stop her screen share so you can take over if you need
Yeah.
to.
Will you just tell her that? I'll go ahead and,
I'll stop hers.
yeah, and then I'll share.
There we go.
And then I just share mine and it'll go.
Yeah, and then, right there, perfect. I think she was on slide 4 or 5.
It was slide 6.
Slide 6, thank you.
BHCIP options. Back one.
Oh.
There you go.
Right there? Okay. So like Michelle was saying, we just wanted to make sure that you understood all of the options that you could apply for. A lot of them require a lot of staffing support, which we know that in Calaveras we wouldn't be able to. So our focus, like we requested to apply in, I think, January for the purchase of a structure, is more of housing and minimal support of staffing compared to something like crisis stabilization or I don't know, let's see, what's another one? They also support the sobriety centers and all of that, which would cost more for insurance, all of the different things. So that's ours, but we still wanted to make sure you understood what we could apply for, and if there was anything that the board was really interested in. Those are the options, and they're all listed in the presentation. And so far, this funding is still going forward. The governor's goal is to get all the homeless housed, so it doesn't look like any of that's being cut yet, but we never know. Let's see. A lot of the funding for maintaining this will also come from the managed care plans. The state is really trying to push behavioral health and the managed care plans into working together. And currently, the two plans that we have do not really have any supports in Calaveras County. So they're reaching out to us to do the work for them for housing. And so we've already started talking to them about doing the, sorry, I don't know if I'm on the right page now, am I? Yes, community supports referrals for the managed care plans and doing the ECM. So that will continue the funding, and it will come from the managed care plans when we are able to contract with them. So that will be continued funding, and then if we also are able to contract, whether it's with probation or housing, whatever that is. So that will be the continued funding, and then, of course, the FSP will continue to have those funds, or which will switch over to the BHSA, which Leanne could speak to on that portion, if you want to give a little bit of what that looks like for the housing part.
With the transition to BHSA, a huge portion of our funding is getting prioritized to housing, where that hasn't historically been the priority of those funds. And so that is the main priority, I think. And so with current standing for MHSA, the housing funds come out of FSP, and with BHSA, they have created its own bucket, like it's its own entity now. And those funds have specific rules within it. And as Michelle had explained earlier, it's the 30% overall, and then the 25% for capital development, and then a portion also for the chronically homeless. And what we can also do is, if there is a capital development project, we are able to request an adjustment to those allotments within. So if we needed additional funds for capital development, we can say, hey, we want to actually request it to be 50% or however it may be, and we would just have to submit the plan to DHCS for them to review and authorize the change of those funds.
So currently, we house clients, I don't know, several within county, spread out throughout the county. But a lot of times we have to house individuals outside of the county just because there's none available. We go from hotel rooms, we go to houses, duplexes. Sometimes they rent a room just from somebody that has a house and they're willing to rent a room. So this is already happening. I know it's a very touchy subject and it's hard to even bring forward. I understand that. But it is something that we are required to bring forward. So it's here before you today, and we're here for questions or...
Supervisor Toppino?
I have a question. How dangerous is that to have a patient living in somebody's home, that they just open that to them? Do we look at what the behavioral pass on somebody is before we place them in somebody's home?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, because that just sounds kind of, could
Yes.
be dangerous.
It could be. Usually it's a friend, a parent, a relative.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Supervisor Palmer?
I'm trying to, what I want to say, I'm afraid it's going to come out pretty long. I understand this is required by the state. One concern I have as we move forward and the state continues to push this agenda down on local jurisdictions. Earlier we had the conversation of, adding more facilities to our list. We can partner with other organizations, correct?
Yes.
So we're not adding more to our inventory of maintenance costs or things like that, that just, because we've seen it in other counties. They have gone through this process. Those facilities are still sitting there, and they're not even using them. And I feel that we just have so much red tape, even locally, to get through that it's going to take us longer to be successful in meeting these goals. I would really like to see how we can better build the partnership with maybe the nonprofit or maybe businesses that are already in that, and being creative that way. Because I don't want to have an inventory of vacant buildings that we just cannot maintain. I mean, traditionally, government is not in the business of renting, and doing that and I get worried with those types of agendas getting pushed down on us. And so I just want to encourage the partnership aspect of it, so we can meet those needs, because it becomes daunting, and I sit in the meetings at OCIC and hear these horror stories, and I'm just like, I just don't want to be in those situations.
Yes, and I agree, we've looked at some of those as well, and one was, there was no guarantee for us, for our clients, that there would be a space for them or what that rent cap would be. And so that made it difficult for us, and it turned into more of, we were funding somebody else's profit, it seemed like. We were making somebody else money instead of serving the client. So that just, it didn't seem right for that. We continue to look at it. This isn't such a facility as just having the housing and the wraparound services that we already give. But we're willing to show more models of what that looks like too. Probation in El Dorado County does a really good program with their behavioral health that we were looking at modeling if, different ones like that. So we're willing to kind of pull different programs together to show those as well.
Thank you.
Supervisor Stopper.
Yeah, I want to say it's almost paradoxical. The current governor in California has, made it a mission to deal with the clients in these type of situations and homeless situations. They've thrown billions of dollars at the situation. The numbers have gone up of people that need help during this time. A lot of the way these are written, not this one 100%, but a lot of them are written, you're talking about upkeep and staff, and for implementation, it brings most of the money up in the bureaucracy before it hits the ground and helps out the client. Amanda said it best. I said it in other situations. We're not in the renting business. We're also not in the building industry, but we're told we're responsible for building affordable housing. I don't know the solution. I think a lot of the paths given to us are not attainable. Other ones, they can give us more money. Sorry, I'm just.
Supervisor Toffenelli, do you?
I don't know, when you said more money, you were shaking your head yes.
I'm like, yeah, we could use more money.
I do have a question though. If we do, or we find housing and we place somebody in a housing project or whatever their place, are there requirements from the state that they have to go to certain programs while they're under our housing care? Is there any requirements other than we just place them in the house and okay, next?
No, it's up to us on what we would decide for that, whatever we purchased. It depends on what we purchase and what we build.
Each individual is each individual, and you make the requirements based on that. Okay, but there is no state requirements other than just build the housing and put them in it.
Well, it would, so you have to meet the requirements of one of those things. So transitional would be allowing 6 months and 1 day, I believe. So in order to get them stable, we would say they have to meet the criteria. We would expect them to come to substance use or mental health to get their therapy. All of those things would be the reason why they're coming there.
And then the long term was said 24 months. At the end of 24 months and they haven't done any improvements or anything, do we just say, okay, thank you very much, and kick them out on the street again? Or do we find some other program that we can put them into so they have some housing?
That is usually what we do, or we start calling shelters for them, with them.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I do have one more thing. I heard it earlier and I kind of made a comment to Teresa. So a lot of these people that were renting rooms out to, they're staying with family. So they're in the business of making money off of us to house their own family?
Sometimes.
Okay.
That's true.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear that concern, and I know what I said earlier, that essentially abuse can happen. I just get worried about accumulating more buildings. And then next thing we know, we're gonna have a hire facility manager just to do houses. I mean, that's just not what that's just not that is traditionally not has been our role, and we're stuck with these agendas that just don't work. And it really needs to go back to the state to take care of if this is what they want to do.
Could I ask, is the Angels Inn the only facility that you use, a hotel facility that you use in the county?
No, that's just currently the one we're using for BHBH.
Okay, thank you. How long have you been using them, do you think?
For a long time, it's just.
I work right across the road, and I just want to say that we've never had an issue. We had one lady who took one of the Bibles out of the bedside table and hid it in the old Beth. But other than that, I think you guys have been doing a fabulous job.
Thank you.
Well, you bring up, maybe we can talk about, I'm worried when the park opens, we're gonna have some issues.
Yeah.
If it increases the population there. And I've already heard from the local jurisdiction about that.
Okay.
I think it'd be helpful to see examples of what is working in other counties, what isn't, to look at and try to learn from, as Amanda has.
Is there any public comment regarding this informational item? Any other comments from the online?
We have no online public comments.
Thank you. Any further comments from the board?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Thank you.
That's okay, you can
Okay.
have it, thank you.
Let me know when you figure it out.
I will.
And we'll move on now to supervisor announcements. Madam Clerk.
In compliance with Government Code 53232.3D, board members shall provide brief reports on any meetings attended at the expense of the local agency and may make other announcements or report out.
Supervisor Stopper.
Thanks. We put $12,500 towards Mountain Ranch Park today. That was the cost of the county, and I was here. Good thing, no environmental disaster. Thank you all. We saved the county.
Supervisor Toppinelli.
I have no comment.
After that.
Supervisor Fallenberg.
Yes, I do. Okay, so last time I forgot to report, I was heading to RCRC. So since then, I attended RCRC. It was a very lively meeting that day. We discussed a little bit of concerns here earlier. A lot of counties, and it's just not the state of California, it's nationwide, are really getting hit with SRS funds, where they're having to close entire departments, unable to provide services. Just our neighbor, Alpine County, is going to be having some really hard conversations with their budget. So it is hitting close to home. Luckily, we don't have a whole lot of money that we are dependent on compared to other counties. So it's really hard to relate other than just be empathetic to those counties that are going to be having some difficult budget years this. Given, we may have a deficit, we're really minor. Our problems seem to be very minor in the scope of things under that microscope. We've got our own problems, don't get me wrong, but it's really going to hurt small rural county and local government across the nation. There was a discussion on trying to get the Fed to refund that. It is not, neither the Democrats or the Republicans are willing to move that forward, and the next part of that conversation for SRS funds will not happen until October. to even be considered in the federal budget. So it sounds like it's a non-starter. The next biggest spend thing was we had a presentation from the Secretary of Natural Resources from the state of California, and wolves were a big conversation. I'm sure you've seen other counties up in Modoc, Lassen, and just recently Sierra County has issued an emergency for wolves. The other thing that really didn't come up then, but has since been a big conversation in the last week, and Ben, I don't know if this has been a discussion on fishing game, fish and wildlife, but coyotes. There is something that is getting passed with fishing and wildlife to limit the amount that property, especially ranchers, can kill coyotes. And it's becoming an issue. So it was a big discussion at the cattlemen's meeting on Saturday night, among other things. But I don't know if our local fish and wildlife need to start being active in advocating for that, but I just want to put it on everybody's radar. And obviously lions was another conversation at OCIC too.
We
Yeah.
consistently deprivation permits, yes, along with our CRC. There's your Jack was definitely in communication with us.
Okay. So next OCIC, the June OCIC meeting will be in Modoc, and there will be a more robust discussion on these items, and the Secretary of Natural Resources for the state of California will be there. And so it is going to be a very active, engaging meeting up in Modoc. And the reason it is in Modoc is because our chairman is from Modoc, and every year we have one meeting in the president's or the chairman's home county.
What's the date on that?
I got to get back to you on that. I want to say, yeah, I'll get back to you. It's blinking right now. Okay, so that's OCIC. A lot going on. Next is Martin and I, along with county supervisors from Alpine County, was on a VPAC meeting this week. The highway is not going to be most likely closed an extra day for bike and pedestrian. I think the bump in the road is that a organization locally has not picked up the torch to be the host. Caltrans will not be the host. They will support the permit process, but they're not going to be the host. So that is moving where it should be, and hopefully we can focus on things that actually we can get some projects actually done. And then since then, we also had a COG meeting, and there is some funding for wildfire mitigation. I was trying to look it up actually yesterday to talk today. I will reach, do you remember what it was? It was like five? Yeah, but Caltrans did make an announcement for, there is grant funding. I do know the number, it's like $5 million, but I couldn't find the exact language last night for today's meeting, but I just want to put it on the radar for those of you that are working on fire. I don't know exact, I think it's more for like road clearance, like doing more fire breaks on roads, but
that was more of an announcement from John than it was actually through COG.
no, Gregoria announced it.
Well, Gregoria did, yeah.
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 Yes.
That's-
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll get more information, but I just want to put it on your radar because you guys have been really actively working on that, and it did come up in the COG meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry. I am done. Thank you.
Supervisor Randolph.
That's why I need to remember.
I know.
On March 26th, I attended the Community Wildfire Prevention Plan kickoff meeting. Our county OAS is leading that up, and invited lots of different special districts, stakeholders, CAL FIRE, and getting started on revamping that plan to bring it up. That's it.
Thank you. And I'd like to report on March 27th, I attended the Fire Safe Council, the 29th, the Red Cross meeting, the 1st of April, the Behavioral Health meeting, on the 3rd, the Agency on Aging, and also the Caltrans BPAC. Thank you. I'd also like to point out that I've never been a part of a group where the left-handed people have outnumbered the right-handed people. And I just noticed that today. So Gary, Autumn, and I outrank you guys.
Well,
we're very creative. You know,
she and I are right.
County council?
No, but we will, we'll report out from closed session at our next meeting.
Thank you. Yes, we are going to adjourn and go into closed session now, and we will report out afterwards. And do you have anything to report, Madam
I need to read off the closed session agenda item.
Please.
So closed session agenda item 14, pursuant to Government Code 54956.95, conference with legal counsel, workers' compensation, claim Robert Beasley, County of Calaveras, claim number 20222000760.
Thank you.
And there's no online public comment.
Thank you very much. And is there any public comment regarding that?
No.
Seeing none, we will close the meeting. Thank you at